Hello, my name is Dr. Laura Hyman. I'm a principal lecturer in sociology at the University of Portsmouth, and my main specialism with regards to research and teaching is happiness and well-being. So I'm particularly interested in the happiness and well-being of the population of Portsmouth. I think it's a particularly happy place to live, actually. So I'm not originally from Portsmouth. I'm a Londoner, but I came to Portsmouth 9 years ago, and I must say I've fallen in love with it. I think it's a special and unique city. And I think one of the things that is quite special about it is its community feel. So I think, as we know, a lot of cities in the UK and worldwide are very large and don't have such a community feel because they are so diverse, because they are so populous, I suppose. And people can kind of form subgroups and silos. And I think the thing that's unusual about Portsmouth is that it's quite compact. And I think that there are probably more opportunities for people to come together in a place like Portsmouth. And of course, when it comes to sociological understandings of happiness, being together and being part of a community is actually really, really important. And I think, at least speaking from a personal perspective, I think being part of the Portsmouth community has been really important for my happiness, at least. And I know that lots of other people I have spoken to who live here are also really, really happy about that. A lot of people I have met in Portsmouth love living here. They love living by the sea. People generally do seem quite happy with it. The university is obviously a large part of Portsmouth's culture. It's one of the big employers in the city, but also the students, when they are here, provide a big component of the Portsmouth community. And a lot of residents always talk about how different it feels when the students aren't here, in holiday times and things like that. And I think the students and the university generally adds a lot of culture to the city. It adds a kind of uniqueness as well. We're trying to be a civic university, which means that the research that we do and our activities are trying to contribute to the betterment of the city as a whole as well. And I think, it's improved the city more. And in the future, I would really like to see even more kind of interaction between members of the university and members of the local community, because I'd love to know, how we can all, join together to make Portsmouth an even better place, because it is very unique. It is, in many ways, it doesn't feel like a city. It feels more like a small town, and it's got a very friendly feel, which I think a lot of cities don't have as well. I think one of the lovely things about Portsmouth is that it seems to have a very high student retention rate. So a lot of our students who come here to study, who aren't originally from Portsmouth, really, really love the place, and they decide that actually this is where they want to build the rest of their lives, and many of them do stay here. And I think lots of people do stay here for the rest of their lives, and I think that says a lot about Portsmouth as a city and what it's got to offer people. So yeah, I think the infrastructure of Portsmouth, the actual space that we have available to us, is really, really important for our happiness. And I think one of the things that we're really lucky with regards to living in Portsmouth is that we have access to the sea, We also have access to some really lovely green spaces such as Southsea Common, Victoria Park, and of course the seafront as well. And it just gives us opportunities to, enjoy city life whilst also having these kind of spaces in which to relax. And I think it gives the city a kind of more relaxed feel, having, that sort of seaside getaway space as well. One really important thing for happiness is feeling like one is part of a community. And I think for the future, and for 2040, I think Portsmouth really does need to carry forward that sense of community and also that sense of pride over where we live. Because I think liking where you live and having pride in it also really does contribute to our happiness. And I think, we're more likely to enjoy interactions with our neighbours. We're more likely to join community groups, and there are lots and lots of community groups within Portsmouth. And I think we're often made to feel in society as though happiness is an individual issue, an individual responsibility. And up to a point, I think it is. But I think it's also really, really important to remember that, loneliness and isolation can be big problems for many people in many places. And I think one of the key things for Portsmouth as a city is to make sure that loneliness and isolation are kept to a minimum, that we do have, community groups to suit everyone, and we have opportunities for people to get involved in their communities, because Portsmouth really is a special place where, people can come together. And, it does have different pockets of, you've got the kind of middle class, more affluent Southsea, for instance, and then you have the some of the other parts of Portsmouth which are less rich in that sense. And I think that rather than having, these separate spaces for people, actually, I think we can gain so much more from coming together and learning from each other.